Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is 6:30. I will call the Tuesday, January 5th meeting of the Superior Common Council to order. Please join us in rising for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag.
To the flag
of the United States of America,
and to the
republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councillor Ledeen.
Here.
Councillor Van Sickle.
Here.
Councillor Bender.
Here.
Councillor Sweeney. Here. Councillor Fennessy.
Here.
Councillor Elm.
Here.
Councillor Ludwig.
Here.
Councillor Sutherland.
Here.
Councillor Kern.
Here.
Councillor Dahlbeck.
Here.
We have a quorum. Councilors, before we proceed, Councillor Bender very kindly requested a moment of silence for former City Councilor and Council President Pete Moran, who died recently. I'd also like to add on to that some thoughts for Andy Lisak, who just died about 2 weeks ago, the former county administrator and executive director of the Development Association. And as well, a few weeks before that, longtime county board supervisor and Veterans Commission member John Robinson passed away sadly of COVID. So for those three public servants, please observe a moment of silence. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for remembering John Robinson.
Thank you, Councilor.
Item number 3 is approval of the minutes from the December 15th regular council meeting.
Motion to approve.
The motion is by Councillor Bender, who made the second.
I think Dahlbeck.
Councillor Dahlbeck.
Councillor Dahlbeck made the second. Is there discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
Item 5 is correspondence to be filed and requires no action. Item 6.1 is the mayor's report.
Thank you, councilors. This was obviously a slow interim between meetings with the holiday, but I think we got a few things done. Since we last met, both the Commission on Communities of Color and the Mayor's Commission on Disabilities have started working on their goals and refining their mission for the next year. I believe both commissions are looking to be a good deal more active, so I think you can expect to hear a lot more from them. Our comprehensive plan work has begun. The consultant hosted listening sessions with a series of community groups in place of what would usually be a physical tour of the city. Personally, I think that might have been much more helpful. They got to hear some broad perspectives from the community. Some things on this agenda tonight and a few that were behind the scenes. We have extended a number of our COVID policies internally and updated a few more. There were some changes with the end of some of the federal government's rules that we have decided to sustain locally through the life of the state of emergency. You'll see later on the agenda that I am proposing and the Human Resource Committee is recommending a new winter policy for how we will handle extreme weather events for our employees and how we will ways for us to send them home when conditions become unsafe and to pay them fairly. I have mentioned that I'm working on Superior Days. Superior Days will be an involved effort this year. We will go, but not in February. There will be a small group going in February for the governor's budget address, but more importantly, there's an initial scramble after the governor releases his budget where we hope to be influential on protecting some items that we hope to be in that budget. So we'll take a quick trip in February, but the main event will be in October after the budget season closes and the more traditional legislative season really heats up. So a couple things internally with departments. I'll skip a few of these. I wanted to congratulate the fire department on one of its most successful Toys for Tots events, serving over 550 children. The police department was also successful in a couple of exciting grants that will help with our efforts to reduce use of force and protect pedestrians, different grants. We have 2 more homes that have graduated from the vacant house recycling program. And last but not least, I think everybody is feeling pretty good about how the Public Works Department performed during the most recent storm. And I just want to point out that was a team effort from the entire Public Works Department, not just the Streets Division. Everybody was very helpful in making sure that was one of the more impressive cleanup efforts we've seen in recent years. I know the public was pleased too. And one final bit of good news, the Belknap Street project has received a national award. I should say this correctly. It is a gold award in the National Excellence in Concrete Paving Awards in the category of municipal streets and intersections. The award winners were WISDOT, Chippewa Concrete Services, and Northern Wisconsin-based engineers, but that's our street. And it's sponsored by the American Concrete Pavement Association. So a little bit of national recognition for a pretty great project. So congratulations to everybody involved in that, because we all know that working in concrete is, well, it's hard work. That's my report. Thank you.
Item 6.2, the mayor is requesting approval to appoint Brian Fidstead, Jenny Van Sickle, Ron Chica, Jocelyn Scandal, Ruth Ludwig, Andrew Donahue, Jeremy Rowan, Christina Kintop, Jason Sirk, Deanna Erickson, Scott Gordon, Jim Payne, and Mark Liebert to the City of Superior's Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee.
So moved.
Second.
Was Councilor Elm the motion to approve?
Yes.
And Councilor Bender made the second. Is there discussion?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Mayor Payne.
Councilor Sutherland.
Thank you. Mayor, I did some diving into this item on the agenda with the list of names, which, by the way, are great names. My main concern is less than maybe half of these, maybe 5 or 6 of these 14 people are actual residents of the city of Superior. I think a committee with this much input should have our city's residents and tax base at the forefront. This is not to discredit some of these names, but more to share my opinion. We have a city with thousands of people who have amazing visions for our city of Superior. And I suggest we start there. So that being said, I'd like to make a motion to send this back to Mayor Payne and bring it so Mayor Payne can bring this back to us in our second meeting in January with at least 10 of these committee members from the city of Superior.
This motion, I assume that motion is to postpone to the second
Yes.
meeting in January. Is there a second?
I'll second.
The second is by Councilor Fennessy. My response to that, councilors, I will not be changing any of these names. These are all extremely qualified appointees, and while there are some people that are not actual residents of the city of Superior, they are people that have profound professional impact on the city and work regularly in the city with a number of our institutions, whether it's the private sector or local government, and they offer unique expertise that I don't feel that I can provide from other appointees. The appointment process was a very deliberate one. Each of these appointees is an expert in their field, and their advice is solicited for this because they've proven that they are leaders within the City of Superior community and have been influential in our development. Is there further discussion on the motion to postpone?
Yes, Mayor Payne.
Councilor Sutherland.
You said some of these. I would say that's way over half. I think I found about 5 of these members, and maybe I'm off by 1, but of these members that are residents of our City of Superior to plan the future in the next 20 years, the vision of our City of Superior. I think we're doing a discredit or disservice to our community not to involve some of these members of our community in this discussion. I will strongly disagree with you, but if it's at the mercy of the council. So,
Further discussion on the motion to postpone?
Mayor Payne, may I? This is Councilor Kern.
Councilor Kern.
I'm asking the council to go along with postponement, whether you agree or disagree, but can I ask that if we do postpone, that the mayor please include at least a small biography of the members that you're choosing to put on there, so the council can more understand who you have picked for this committee?
Yes, if the motion to postpone is successful, I would provide, I can provide a memo. I assumed most of these people are well-known. Most of these people have spoken in this room before. Further
This
discussion
is
on the motion.
Councilor Elm
Counselor
here.
Elm.
Just for a little clarification, Councilor Sutherland, are you suggesting to add to be a larger committee, or are you suggesting removing some of the Duluth folks off of here?
Well, it's not only just, Councilor Elm, it's not only just Duluth, it's the surrounding area outside the city of Superior. I understand this is a great list of names, but I feel like we got to have 75%, or I'm sorry, 10 of these 14 names being from the city of Superior to plan the future of the direction of our city.
Thanks.
Is there further discussion? Hearing none.
Mayor Payne, I would just add one thing. I don't know where the number 75 comes from. I don't think there's any kind of policy that would direct that. Plenty of our department heads don't live in the city and make very impactful decisions, and are handsomely compensated for making important decisions. I don't know if Dr. Kintoff is on the line, or any, I guess I'm not sure who's being singled out here. I don't know if Ron Chica is a city of Superior resident, but likely knows more about our community than maybe any of us. So unless there's a merit or policy, I cannot understand the point of this.
Ron lives in South Range.
Okay, thank you.
And so does Christina Kintop lives in South Range.
Oh, okay.
I should clarify, I did not know the addresses of most of the people appointed to this. They were appointed because of their impact and professional expertise within the city of Superior.
In the case of Jeremy Browen, he represents hundreds of Superior residents as well.
Okay, I'm going to proceed to a vote. The motion is to postpone until the next meeting. We will proceed by roll call.
Mayor Payne, that was with 10. That was the motion with 10 of the 14 of it was being from Superior.
But the motion is to postpone, I'm sorry, 10 of the appointments?
To postpone it and come back with 10, or that's almost three-quarters, but I want to say 10 of 14 of these members being from the city of Superior, please.
I'm clarifying the motion is to postpone the discussion. The only motion in order is to postpone. I don't understand the point you're making, Counselor. Could you say it again?
So, no, the motion I made to begin with was to postpone or to bring this back to your office, and you bring it back. You go over this list and refine it down to so 10 of the 14 of these members are from our city, and then bring it back to our second meeting in January.
Okay, I understand. That motion would be out of order. The motion to postpone is in order. The council does not have the power to direct the manner in which I make my appointments. However, I believe the council understood this all to be a motion to postpone. I understand it to be a motion to postpone all of the appointments, seeing as it is a singular board. So I will proceed on a motion to postpone all of the appointments until the next meeting in January. We'll proceed by roll call.
Is that with a bio on them?
Yes, if the motion is postponed, I will provide a bio.
Okay.
Okay. Councilor Ledeen.
No.
Councilor Van Sickle.
No.
Councilor Bender.
No.
Councilor Sweeney.
No.
Councilor Fennessy.
Yes.
Councilor Elm.
No.
Councilor Ludwig.
Councilor Ludwig, are you on mute?
Yeah, I am. I'm sorry. I apologize. No.
No. Councilor Sutherland.
Yes.
Councilor Kern.
Yes.
Councilor Dahlbeck.
Yes.
That motion fails.
The motion has failed. Regarding the main motion, we will proceed to a vote unless there are further discussions. However, I will nonetheless provide the bios that were requested as part of my mayor's report at the next meeting. Is there further discussion on the appointments of 6.2? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed say no.
No.
The motion carries.
Item 6.3, Mayor Payne is requesting approval to appoint Megan Gildelamadrid to the Urban Forestry Tree Board. Crystal Sales Broderson to the Superior Business Improvement District Board of Directors, Lindsay Gransky to the Festival Committee, and reappointing Carolyn Nelson Kavayats, Nikki Farmakis, Julie Urban, and Lindsay Jacobson to the Festival Committee.
Motion to approve.
Second.
The motion is by Counselor Bender. The second is by Counselor Ledeen. Is there discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
Item 7.1 is the Finance Committee recommendations from their December 10th meeting. Is there a report from the chair?
Chairman Sweeney.
Thank you. First of all, the Finance Committee has been very busy the last 3 months, so it seems like we're having a little hiatus here. We're only going to have one meeting, I think, in January, so that's good. We've accomplished some things, and looking forward to 2021, trying to develop for 2021 a calendar of events so we can have somewhat of a systematic approach to the Finance Committee, items that come up on a yearly basis. Also, we're doing some planning, so a little slow right now, but again, I would like to thank the Finance Department for helping out. We couldn't do it without them, and also for the other people on the City Council. Some members have been attending our meetings, and we're thankful for that, to know what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Unless there are questions from the chair, I will entertain a motion to approve the budgets presented to you from the Finance Committee, items 4 and 6 here.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion is by Counselor Elm. Second was Counselor Ledeen. Is there discussion? Hearing none. All those in
Mayor
favor?
Payne, could you just break out exactly the two items 4 and 6?
Oh,
what
sure.
we're looking at here?
The first is the hotel motel fund budget, which is included in the packet. The other is a series of small fund budgets that really don't change substantially year to year. Director Putz, do you want to say a little bit more about what's contained in the miscellaneous budgets?
I'd be happy to. So the miscellaneous other budgets are, for lack of better terminology, the smaller little budgets that actually haven't even gone through council every single year. They're not technically required to, but in an effort to have complete transparency and to make sure everyone knows exactly what's going on, my wish and goal, and I know Mayor Payne's goal too, was to include a budget for absolutely every single fund within the city. So this miscellaneous other funds is just truly all of the other funds that we didn't do kind of a big full-blown budget on, but they're accounts that exist within the city. They have, pretty minimal activity for the most part. These are pretty small funds, or they have a really specific purpose that doesn't really have the ability. There's not really a decision to be made necessarily, but just an FYI so that at least council knows it's happening. And then for the funds that do have a little bit of activity that you could weigh in on, that you have that opportunity to see what's going on.
So is that the 821, or is that the miscellaneous funds coming from the city's percentage?
I'm not sure what. So 821 is the hotel motel tax fund, and that is its own separate budget.
Yeah.
The miscellaneous other fund budgets, each fund is listed in the document at the top left-hand corner of each page, but there's a handful of them, about 10 different ones.
And that's where like Superior Days and Sister City and all that is listed, right?
Yes, Counselor, if you look at the main agenda, the council agenda, 7.1 Finance Committee, item 4, that's the hotel motel fund budget.
Right.
A separate item is the package of miscellaneous budgets. I just we took a motion to approve them, both of those items together. So all of these budgets are included in this motion, but they are, of course, all on the floor for discussion.
Okay. I noticed that Mr. Ott was here from Positively Superior. And I guess I just wondered if I would have an opportunity to ask him some questions.
Yes, the floor is yours. I can't swear he'll answer them, but.
Certainly.
Certainly, I'll be happy to answer any questions I can.
Thanks,
Although
Mr. Ott,
I
for
do want
being
to
here
point out this is regular discussion. So, Councilor, I'd ask that ask as many questions as you can. Mr. Ott is not a presenter here. I want to avoid too much
Certainly.
direct discussion.
Certainly. I'll keep it brief. Again, thanks for being here, Mr. Ott. I've enjoyed the magazine for a long time. I do have a couple of questions, though. I don't know if you've ever actually come to address the council before, but I was wondering if you had a general geographic boundary or if it was just Douglas County or the Northland in general.
It is Douglas County and the Northland in general.
Okay.
For the printed magazine. However, our website is available to the world, and it is free. Everybody that wants to read the magazine can read it online at no charge. So every magazine we provide is on the World Wide Web for anybody to read and anybody to see.
Okay. And how often do you publish your magazine?
It is every other month. It's 6 issues a year.
Okay, that's helpful. And you haven't had any issues interrupted because of the pandemic, is that right?
No, we have been chugging right along, and it's business as usual as much as we possibly can.
Good to hear. Now it's not totally free. I'm looking at a line item of just over $11,000 here. But in the last 12 months, just to the best of your, off the top of your head, have you covered a business called Superior Cuts?
Superior Cuts?
Mm-hmm.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. What about Stop and Go?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. What about the Black Fox Salon?
Maybe not yet, but there's a lot of small businesses in Superior.
Mm-hmm. What about Izzy's Barbecue?
I think we've talked about that. I think it's on our agenda to cover them.
Mm-hmm. And what about Jamrock?
Don't know about Jamrock.
Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 0 out of 5. Just as you've probably noticed, these are all Black-owned businesses. And as I read your magazine, I noticed there are some gaps. I also would urge this council to consider a contract for this magazine in the future. I think it's highly unusual, the arrangement we have. With that said, we can move on. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Is there further discussion on the business of the Finance Committee? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye. Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
Item 7.2 is the Human Resources Committee from the December 21st meeting. Report from the chair.
Chair Ludwig.
All right. In addition to the revised policies that we have on the tonight's agenda, at our December 21st meeting of the HRC committee, we approved revised job descriptions for ESD Collection System Engineer Coordinator, ESD Wastewater Facilities Planning Coordinator, ESD Water Resources Program Coordinator, Light Equipment Operator, and City Assessor. And we also approved requests to fill the following positions: Assistant Building Permit Technician and subsequent vacancies, ESD Maintenance Technician and subsequent vacancies, ESD Water Resources Program Coordinator and subsequent vacancies, and the Assessor and subsequent vacancies. let me see here. I guess we continue to go through recommendations from our W group. Currently, we are looking at operations, city attorney's office, and discussions continue on that. And that is all I have to report. Can I answer any questions?
Are there questions for the chair? If not, I will entertain a motion to approve the business of the Human Resource Committee.
So moved.
I will second that.
The motion is by Counselor Bender, the second by Counselor Ludwig. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed say no. The motion carries.
7.3 is a Public Works Committee recommendations from December 16th meeting. Report from the chair.
Chair Van Sickle.
Thank you. I can barely hear Terry. But before I give my report, I just want to first give an opportunity to questions or concerns about the minutes that we covered in Public Works.
I'm sorry, say that again, Counselor?
I really just wanted to hear if there were any questions or concerns regarding the minutes of Public Works. There was just a short discussion about surplus at the last meeting, so before I moved to approve, I wanted to check in on that. So the only thing that I will mention is that we have approved a sidewalk elimination over there in Billings Park again, but we'll be looking to revamp that policy this year to make sure that the eliminations really pass through the filters of NACTO Vision Zero. The MPO has just adopted that in the active transportation plan. So, for example, we will remove this sidewalk in our regular plan, but one will be going back in there when we have the opportunity and as funding is available. So with that said, I would move to approve all of the business of the Public Works Committee with the exception of the ordinance.
We'll
I'll second.
Somebody else made the second before I heard Counselor Bender.
Bender.
The motion is by Counselor Van Sickle, the second by Counselor Bender to approve the business of the Public Works Committee, accepting the ordinance, which we'll read afterwards. Is there discussion on the rest of the business on the Public Works Committee? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
Item number 4 is to approve an ordinance introduced by the Public Works Committee amending traffic code stops by adding Hewitt Avenue, the following stop at North 22nd Street, a two-way stop.
Motion to approve.
Second.
The motion is by Counselor Bender, the second by Counselor Ludwig. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed say no. The motion carries.
Item 8.1 is the recommendations from the Plan Commission from the December 16th. Also a resolution authorizing a special use permit for a solar farm at North 28th Street and Hammond Avenue by Superior Water, Light and Power. And they do have a representative with us tonight for a presentation.
I will turn the floor over to the representatives of Superior Water, Light and Power, Ms. Scandell and Mr. Allen, I believe.
Jocelyn, you are on mute.
I'm afraid I'm going to be echoed. Hang on.
We can hear you now. Thank you.
How's that?
Perfect.
Okay. Hang on. I'm getting echo on my end. All right. I think it's okay. All right. Let's see if I can present. With that, can you guys see that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So good evening, everybody again. My name is Jocelyn Scandell. I'm the project manager for the Superior Solar Garden and manager within the Superior Water Light and Power Group. Thanks for taking the time tonight to learn more about our project. We're really excited about it, and we hope you guys will be too. So I'll start with just a little background about the company. We've been around for a long time. 1889, we've been part of the community, part of everything happening here as the city has grown, and we're your partners.
Wow.
Sorry, I'm getting bad feedback. Okay, sorry, we'll start that again. So obviously we're a utility that has 3 separate utilities, and that's a really important distinction that not a lot of utilities have. We serve all the City of Superior's residents with electric, gas, and water. But obviously this project is based around our electric customers. We are highly regulated by the PSCW down in Madison, which is the Public Commission of Wisconsin. And everything that I'll show you guys tonight and talk about has already been submitted and approved by that group down in Madison. So why put a solar garden in Superior? And I think it's really important just to know that, you know, our energy landscape is changing, and it's changing a lot. And right now, as a utility, we purchase all of our power from Minnesota Power across the bridge. We don't have any generation as a company, and it's something that we're really excited about to bring to Superior and the residents here. What a lot of people don't know about what we do when we purchase our power from Minnesota Power is that Minnesota Power has made the commitment to be 50% renewable by 2021. And so right now they've achieved that goal. They achieved it in December. So the power that we purchase and serve to the residents of Superior is actually a very renewable commodity. And the solar garden just aims to add a little bit of really local presence to that already renewable source. So a utility scale solar project. This is what we're proposing on the corner of 28th and Hammond. You can see the picture there, and I'm going to run through a whole bunch of pictures through these slides, and then you guys can feel free to ask questions when we're done. But really is an option for customers to buy into that are looking for that green solution to their energy power. They're looking for solar or another solution that they maybe can't afford themselves to put on their rooftop or don't have room to put on their rooftop, or they rent. This solution really encompasses all of those people. So if you're anyone within our electric service territory, a residential or commercial customer, you have the availability to buy into a green solution, and it's all kinds of options. So we were laying out different options for customers that may want to pay up front, and then we're laying out options for customers that may want to pay over the long haul of this project. A really important part of this project is all of the maintenance of this project is built into the project itself and paid for by the people who subscribe to it. So where utility costs and utility rates change over time, this project is a fixed cost project. So once a community member has subscribed to the project, those rates will not change for the 25 years. You're guaranteed to pay that rate over the 25-year life of the project. So it gives people some certainty over what they're getting. We looked at a lot of things, and I know we've worked with a lot of people within the city and privately over the last 2 to 3 years to come up with, where is the best spot to put the project, when is the best spot to do or when is the best time to do the project, and really had to come up with, a lot of criteria around this project in general. So we looked at a lot of different places to put the project, and a lot of location goes into the cost of the project. So when you're looking at renting or buying or considering different options, do we have, connections to our current grid is a big thing. It has to be somewhere within our service territory. So we looked at, where are those places available? where are they available to us, where are they available where they're not going to be used for something else. And I'm sure you guys know as well as anywhere that land in Superior is scarce. So this piece of property is land that we own, and it's very visible along 28th Street, and we intend to make it, a great piece of the community going forward. And then the other third thing is desire. You have to have customers who want to subscribe to a solar garden if you're going to build it, because like I said, people that subscribe to the project are the people who pay for it over the life of the project. So it really is community based. It's something that customers are looking for, customers want to enroll in, and it's something that we're excited to bring to them. So these, this is just another view from 28th Street and Hammond Avenue. And sorry, my screen's over here, so I have to keep looking that way. But the program is completely voluntary. If you don't want to subscribe in solar, you have no desire, you don't need to. It's merely a voluntary thing that if you're in that category that green energy is a priority for you, this is the project you want to be involved in. The size of this project is 100. So the size would serve if we only served residential customers, which, like I said, this project would be open to residential and commercial customers. We'd power about 115 average residential homes. So it's not a huge project. It's great for Superior as a starter to see if it maxes out right away and we want to get into, building something else. But right now, this is on the smaller side for a community solar garden. But we do have a list out there of customers that are interested in the project that we've been communicating with, and we've got this set up to sell out at a first come first served basis. So this is another view, kind of a overhead view, and I think one that we've seen the most in the media of the project. And I'll just touch on these couple of things. And these are really community learning opportunities. So we intend to try to work with UWS. They've got an entire B project and department over there that would be a great source for us to learn from and learn with. And we hope that in the future they can be, this project may be part of their curriculum. It could be something that they help determine what needs to grow there and why. And we really do intend to make it a pollinator habitat, regardless of their involvement, but we think it will be great with a partnership with UWS. The other thing that we've talked about is there opportunity for the school district of Superior. This project lies between 3 schools, between the high school and Northern Lights and the middle school. It's within walking distance. If there was, optionality for folks within the school district to design something around that. We want this to be really, really a community feeling project, and we intend to use it that way. So I'm just going to go back. I know I want to make sure I cover some of these photos because I know I've had concerns from some of you, and I've talked to some of you that are in the city council about the look and feel of how this looks down 28th Street. So I'm showing you a view of what it potentially could look like at the corner of Hammond and 28th Street, looking, I guess it would be east. It is the back view of the panels. And to touch on just some of the improvements that are not captured in here, part of when we put these panels up, the poles that you see right along 28th Street, we have the ability to move some of those lines and bury some of those lines to make that area look a lot better. There's a lot of power lines that run through that corner, and I think this project would really clean up a lot of that. So we'll bury the lines, open up the view, and then we also have the ability, we're going to have to add some lighting to the area, so we could actually work with the city to put some different poles up to light the park better. So beyond just what we see in these pictures, I think there's a lot of things that are going to improve the area in general. This is kind of the other view down 28th Street that I'll just point out. And some of the concerns we've heard is that we don't want to look at the back of these panels down 28th Street. And we completely understand that as a company, we want this to be aesthetically pleasing to everybody, community members, and we want, the residents of Superior to be proud of it. We have committed and will continue to commit to work with the city to make sure that this backside of the panels looks as good as it can. I will tell you that what we have built into the budget for the project and what the subscribers will pay for has been approved by our commission. So we do have some restrictions on, we either have to get some additional approvals through them or work with you guys creatively to come up with different solutions. And I think we can, as a company and through the city, work through Public Works and work through this group to try to figure out, is there different things we want to see and different things we want to do? We have that ability to do that. So I'll leave it at that and see if there's any questions on the project. I throw up our timeline just to make you guys aware. This project has gone through, like I said, a ton of approvals down with the PSCW, making sure that it's fair and it's cost efficient and it's great for customers. That's their main goal, is to make sure that we're doing the right thing for the community as well. And so we meet with you today as the city council to hopefully get this special use permit approved so that we can move forward with our construction timeline, which would be to break ground in May or June of this year and build the project over the summer of this year with power flowing from the panels towards the end of 2021.
Thank you, Ms. Scandell. Please keep your microphone on so you can participate in this discussion. I know there will be questions, but before we move into discussion, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
The motion is by Councillor Bender, the second by Councillor Elm. Okay, discussion or questions for, why don't we start with questions for Ms. Scandell?
Mayor.
Councillor Ledeen?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Scandell. A few questions. I guess, one, if you could walk me through the process. If I'm applying for this, what am I applying for necessarily? I heard it's something you buy in blocks. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yep. So if you were interested in the project, you'd go on the Superior Water, Light, and Power website. It's a very simple form that you fill out to get registered on our site. Internally, our customers take a look at your annual usage, and they would come back to you and recommend, here's what we think you could buy into in a 1 megawatt block, which is just energy talk, to cover your entire usage on an average annual basis. That doesn't mean that's what you have to buy. They'll just give you some options on, you could cover a portion of your energy, or you can cover potentially all of your energy by buying it this way.
Okay. Is there a maximum amount of blocks you could buy? I mean, I wonder about a company coming in and just buying 50% of the solar garden itself. Is that possible?
Yeah. So the way that it was approved through the Public Service Commission, technically, yes, that could happen. Our goal is to make this more community feel. So we've said you can buy up to your annual average, and we'll focus on residential first.
Okay.
To try to make sure that it's more residential customers.
Okay. As far as that list is concerned, that you're, if everyone was to purchase these these blocks that are on that list, what is the demand like? Does that cover all 150 or 15 homes that you approximated this energy can do?
Of the list that we currently have of residential customers, it would not.
Okay.
It wouldn't cover all of them, but we also do have some, I would say, decent sized commercial customers that I think would be willing to pick up whatever we don't subscribe to the community.
Okay. Just some scenarios for you that I had wondered about. So if I buy into this, and I move somewhere in the city of Superior, does that stay with the home? Can I transfer that to my new home in Superior? How would that process work?
Yep. If you move to somewhere else in Superior, within the service territory, you can take it with you. If you move outside of the service territory, you can sell it back to the company.
Okay.
And if for something reason you passed away, you can leave this to anybody that you would wish to.
Oh, that was actually going to be one of my next questions. and I guess if you could speak to the location on 28th Street, what was it about this location? Why is it this location what you feel is the best area for this versus, I assume, others that you looked at?
Yeah. There's so many reasons, Councilor Ledeen, that I could go through. Part of it, like I said, is desire and the timing of this project. So we've looked at land in multiple areas and through multiple third party, so like private party, that just didn't work with timing. And this location, being company owned, doesn't cost customers any more money, which is huge for the subscribers, because the goal is to make it as economical as we can for people who are looking for this option. So to buy more land, to have to develop something, just costs customers more money, which is what we're not looking for.
And my last question, won't take up too much more time, is there hope from Superior Water, Light and Power that there will be more, that this is not the only plan for renewable energy that you guys have, or is this a one-time thing?
I would say our goal is to do what the community wants us to do in that realm. We're open to different types of energy. This project being small and really our first generation since the early 80s, it's a great way for us to make sure that it's going to be right for the community, that it's what the community wants. But normally what we see is that communities put these in and then they just want more and they want more. And either it's community wants it or businesses start wanting it and they'll pop up in different locations.
I thank you very much for your time, Ms. Scandell. Love the Reggie White jersey. Mayor, I yield.
Sir, further questions for Ms. Scandell? While you're thinking of them, I was asked councilors to address the subject of property value, and Mr. Cirque might be able to add more to this, but I don't think so, because we looked into it, and while I'm certainly not a professional appraiser, a number of professional appraisers throughout the country have answered this question repeatedly. It is a very common question asked of appraisers: what happens to property values of homes that surround solar gardens? And so it's pretty easy to find these opinions, these professional opinions and reports from appraisers. Generally speaking, we have not found any that found that property value is impacted negatively in any way by solar gardens. In fact, some studies suggested that there may have been a moderate improvement in property value. So again, I can supply some evidence for that, a number of these appraisal reports, but generally speaking, nobody's been able to find evidence that this could negatively impact property values. So I'll keep Ms. Scandell on the line if there are other questions for her, but discussion on the motion.
I had a question.
Councilor Sweeney, please.
I have a question. Thank you for your presentation. It just seems to me, did I hear you say that that is the best location in the city of Superior for this project?
Correct, yes.
The best, not the best land that's owned by your corporation, but overall it's the best location within the city.
Yes, I would still say outside of company land that we owned, based on cost to purchase and improving any land we would have to purchase, and wetland credits available for a lot of those other locations, puts a lot of other locations cost competitively out of the ranks of being a good location for this project.
It seems to me it's going on 28th Street, and however you look at this, the word garden is I'm not a green thumb, but my definition of a garden would not follow this property by this, what you're doing here, but call it as you will. I just think that the property owners, and again, I had a few calls. I thought they were all concerned about the property value and other things. I'm concerned about the zoning. I just can't imagine that this is the best place in the city to have this, other than you own the land, and I understand that completely. But I just think that there's a better place to put this than on 28th Street and Hammond, if you would. Thank you.
Before I go further, I'd like to ask a follow-up question, Ms. Scandell, because I've dwelled on that term myself, solar garden. Obviously, the panels are not being grown from the ground, but my understanding, you briefly touched on this in the presentation, but that this will contain a pollinator habitat or pollinator garden. So there's going to be a deliberate effort to put a certain type of vegetation that will attract things like bumblebees and butterflies. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct. And we will deliberately work with the folks at UWS to try to see what is the best way to accomplish that. But it will be something that looks more like a garden once it's grown.
Okay, thank you. Otherwise, I had a similar concern as Councilor Sweeney. I frequently heard these described as solar gardens or solar farms, which is no better a term, but thank you. Further discussion.
Can I have one follow-up?
Yeah, please, Councilor Sweeney.
However you describe this in terms of units, whatever the units are, once you build this original one, is that the end of it then, or will there be expansion?
For this project, that would be it.
That would be
anything else that we would look to do would need further approval with the Public Service Commission of Wisconsin, and obviously would go through another permit process with the City of Superior.
So if I understand you correctly, you said that whatever the original, that's it?
Yes.
Thank you.
At this location.
Further discussion. Hearing none.
Mayor, if I could.
Councilor Fennessy, please.
Okay, sorry, I did the hand. You must not have seen it. So, councilors, I sit on the Plan Commission, and I need to admit, I think we missed an opportunity when we approved the special use permit. The component that was missed is getting firm clarification on the aesthetics of what the project will look like, and to work into the design some kind of landscaping that will look best. The special use permit that we're voting on tonight doesn't clarify what kind of trees, how many trees, what kind of plants and landscaping they will have incorporated into the plan. It doesn't clarify what kind of lighting. I also don't believe, I know you touched on it, but I don't believe it clarifies in the special use permit whether or not they will bury the overhead line or not. The ordinance that allows for the special use permit cites on there that it needs to show all lighting and landscaping at a detail sufficient enough to understand the location. And I don't think we hit that mark. I think we missed that mark to get that firm clarification of the landscaping and the lighting worked into the special use permit. So because that was missed, I'm not even convinced that this special use permit follows the full guidelines of the ordinance. And my hesitation is if we don't get it clarified now, we don't have any recourse to come back and say you need to make this more aesthetically appealing in the future. Now's our one chance that we have to do it, and then also to further that there have been a couple members of the Plan Commission that reached out to me that said, I think we rushed this through. Is there any way that we can take another crack at it to have that conversation of just to get the clarification of what kind of plants, how many plants, what kind of trees, what's it going to look like? The design that we have in our packet, I don't think does a well enough job to clarify that, yeah, this is something that this is going to look good. And my hesitation with that, with missing that, is this is certainly going to be a wave that we're going to be seeing more and more of in the future. And if we don't take the opportunity now to make this plan as aesthetically appealing as possible, this is going to be the last one, because then it'll no one's going to look at that with a good view and say, yeah, let's do another one, let's do a bigger one, let's do a one on the other side of town. And so I would prefer that we just send this back to Plan Commission. It would delay things for Superior Water, Light, and Power, and I fully understand that. Been in conversation with Jossie, but I would rather see this sent back to Plan Commission to have those conversations that I think we missed. And in all reality, it would only delay things through the month of January. And we could be here at the same place voting on this a month from now. So I'll make a motion to refer this back to the Plan Commission to get further clarification on the aesthetics of the proposed solar farm.
Second.
Motion is by Councillor Fennessy, second by Councillor Kern to refer to Plan Commission. Discussion.
Do I get a chance to comment on that?
No, I'm going to leave, unless there's a direct question, ma'am, I'm going to leave this to the councillors.
I have a question. Councillor Fennessy, in his motion, alluded that this was rushed, and I don't serve on the Plan Commission, but I think 3 councillors do, at least. The best I can remember, this has come to the council twice already. I think over the course of a year. Director Cirque, could you speak to the idea that this was rushed?
Councillor Van Sickle, thank you. Our Mayor Payne. Essentially, we've been kind of working on this with Superior Water, Light, and Power for about 2.5 years. Jocelyn's kind of, I think, the second or the third program. Our project manager, John Allen's been along for the ride the whole time. We have been looking at this probably for the last, since summertime, really into it, with helping with some of their approvals, and this land. So I wouldn't consider it as rushed. We've been working on it for quite a while, and the dialogue between my office, the mayor's office, and Water and Light has been going on for quite some time. I believe, there's been some newspaper articles over the last 1.5 years or so on this. So I think there's been some pretty good time and thought put into this.
And do you feel like if we thought the trees in the landscape weren't sufficient, that a company that's been in the city as long as Superior Water, Light, and Power could make that right?
Yeah, I would agree. And Mayor, if I can address some of the concerns here, is that okay?
Yes.
I'm
sorry. Let me.
A lot of these
Van Sickle, would you like to
permits,
finish? I'm sorry.
They have
Director
guidelines
Sir.
per the ordinance.
Director, sir, just a moment. I'd like to let
Councilor
Councillor Van Sickle finish her questions.
Oh, sorry.
We can leave it there. Thank you very much.
Okay, I apologize.
I'm sorry,
Councilor
Councilor
Director Sir.
You're okay.
If you start over, if you could.
So essentially, what a lot of these special use permits are guidelines, and the ordinances are guidelines for what we're enforcing. And a lot of the things, Councilor Fennessy's right, are up front. A lot of the things that are done are during permit time. If you look at this ordinance as well, landscaping and things like that nature are included in that, but we will also look at that during permit time. There's also a stormwater permit that's going to be needed for this. That is not ready at this point. That will be a checkbox as well as part of the ordinance. They will also need to provide prior to construction, kind of their decommissioning plan. We do not have that as yet because that is one of the requirements. So there are a lot of requirements that come with this that will also be looked at when a permit is issued or a permit application comes in from Spirit Water, Light and Power for the property. And that's an erosion control, it's a stormwater permit as well as a construction permit. So
further discussion.
This is Councilor Elm. I guess I'd like to hear what Jocelyn has to say about the aesthetics, or maybe what her rebuttal or intent was to say.
Fair enough. Ms. Scandell.
Sure. So the plan that we have in place that has been approved by the commission is pretty much what you see on the screen, or what you did see before I took it down. It's that chain link fence along the back, and then the pollinator habitat within. Since that time, we have talked with many of the counselors and with the mayor's office, and we would really like the opportunity to work with the city and potentially with Public Works and with the Parks and Rec Department. If there's a desire to implement some additional, whether it be plants, brush, small trees that aren't going to grow enough to block the sun, we are more than happy to make that happen as a partnership with the city. And I think we can do that without sending that back to the Planning Commission. Superior Water, Light and Power wants this project to be a success just as much as the city does. And as a resident and an employee, I would take great pride personally in that, to make sure that that happens within the city. I want this to be something that we look at in 25 years and say that was the right choice. It's what Superior needed. It's what Superior wanted. So we internally will make that commitment to continue working with the city, with the council, and with anybody else who wants to play a part in a partnership to do anything above and beyond what we've already worked with our commission to get approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Further discussion.
Mayor, if I could respond.
Fennessy.
So the comment about it being rushed, I certainly know that the overall project wasn't and hasn't been rushed, because it was Jossie and John reached out to me probably, it's got to be probably a year ago or so at a proposed location that they were looking at that was right outside my district. And so I know that they've put in a real amount of time and effort into this project. And I know they've looked at a ton of different locations. And so my comment about it being rushed wasn't in reference to the overall, the overall process, because they've been working on this a lot. And in no way do I think that they've rushed this project and just thrown it up at this location. My comment about it, feeling rushed, was simply a regurgitation of what one of the plan commissioners had reached out to me and said that just that one component, that the plan commission it missed the mark on this, and we didn't spend enough time on the aesthetics and nailing down the aesthetics, especially when the ordinance says that the landscaping, the lighting has to be clearly defined. And I mean, we can talk, back and forth and say, we're going to try and do the best. We're going to try and do this. We're going to do that. But at the end of the day, the problem is if we don't get it worked into the special use permit and say, we're going to do it this way, we're going to have this, we're going to make it look like that, we have absolutely no recourse. And I've had multiple conversations with Jossie in the last week or so, and as early as today. And I want to be clear that I'm not opposed to this project. I'm not opposed to the size of it, the site, anything like that. I just want to make sure that I would just prefer that we take just half a step back and have a broader conversation, a deeper conversation about the aesthetics. And on the plan commission, we have she works for LHB, and she's reached out to her landscape team to try and get some additional ideas that we'd like to incorporate into the special use permit. But if we don't do it now, there's nothing that we can incorporate and nothing that we can make sure happens. I think we've got one opportunity to do it, and it's now.
Further discussion? Councilors, I'm also a member of the Plan Commission, and I do have a few concerns both as the chair of the Plan Commission and as the head of the administration. I think I have some procedural concerns with this. I don't know that sending this back is fair to Superior Water, Light, and Power, who has met all of the requirements to have their permit approved. They do meet the requirements of the ordinance. There may be some disagreement on that, but they do, and they meet them to the level that everybody else that's gotten a special use permit has met. And while I can understand the desire to go into more detail in that special use permit, that's not a standard that we have subjected to other applicants of special use permits. And where we do subject that level of detail is in the administration part of this process. So I think we need to respect that process because we do have other recourse after today. They must meet all of the aspects of the ordinance in order to achieve all of their permits, which are issued by the planning department. How this process has traditionally worked is once they have submitted a qualified application, which they have, the planning department gets final approval to make sure that they meet all of the actual requirements. That is the process we subjected everybody else to, and I think it's important that the Plan Commission has done its work. We should therefore allow the planning department to do its work and make sure that Superior Water, Light, and Power is treated the same as every other company that's gone through this process. But my biggest concern is that a delay in this project does present some very real risks, especially in the way we're considering this. In the presentation, you saw their timeline, which you did hear how long it's taken to get to this point, but they're on a pretty tight timeline, and a month's delay is not insignificant in a project that is expected to be completed within 1 year. That is the highest energy use time of the year when they expect to be completed, and delays will have very real costs for their prospective customers who are waiting for this project. But finally, I want to remind the council something that Ms. Scandell said. Their budget has been approved by the Public Service Commission. They are not allowed to deviate from that budget, and if we were to impose extra detail, that could impose extra costs on the project, and if we make those requirements of the permit, the entire project may fail because it can't meet its budget. That is a very real, if not likely, possibility of adding extra requirements to the permit. That's why I believe Ms. Scandell said she's looking forward to working with the city, which is in the business of providing a lot of these enhancements. We do plant trees every year throughout the city, and we do have a lot of resources to help this project, along with, she mentioned, UW Superior. So I think we need to rely on our traditional process. I think we need to respect a company that has followed everything that we've asked of them in a timely process and pass this tonight. I don't believe that we can reasonably expect more of them.
Take a vote.
If there is no further discussion, I will proceed by roll call. The motion is to refer to the Plan Commission. Yes refers it to the Plan Commission. No brings us back to vote tonight.
Starts Councilor Van Sickle.
Councilor Van Sickle, are you on mute? I didn't hear your vote.
I'm sorry, no.
Councilor Bender.
No.
Councilor Sweeney.
Yes.
Councilor Fennessy.
Yes.
Councilor Elm.
No.
Councilor Ludwig.
No.
Councilor Sutherland.
Just for clarification, this is to send it back to commission, right? Is that it?
Yes,
correct.
Sends it to Plan Commission.
Oh, yes.
Councilor Kern.
Yes.
Councilor Dahlbeck.
No.
Councilor Ledeen.
No.
That motion fails.
The motion to refer has failed. Discussion on the main motion, which is approval of the resolution.
Mayor, Councilor Kern here.
Councilor Kern.
That's probably a question for Director Cirque. After this, if and when this special use permit is approved and it goes to the plan department, at that point, any changes to the overall project as far as the landscaping, layout, etc., are those improvements still coming back through the council with any changes, or is that going to be handled by your department?
It'll be handled by my department.
So then the overall permit going to be issued by the council, or is this the overall permit being issued by your department then?
Correct.
So my only hesitation, Jocelyn, great presentation. I know you guys have been working on this for many years. It started off with the Parks and Rec department is where I first seen it, I believe, almost 2 years ago. I understand that you guys have looked at many different locations. I've talked to Director Cirque about some different ideas that I had, but obviously you guys have worked through that as well. My main concern is just the overall residents that live in that area. I know we do projects throughout the city, but there are like few customers that are going to be living on those intersections in that area that are going to have to look at this. And if it's not done in a way that I know you guys are going to try your best in, I think it's just going to, they're not going to have any recourse at this point. This solar garden has picked up a lot of news press, especially in the last month and a half. But prior to that, it was kind of a long period of time where the public input sessions and different things. I guess one of my questions is, were they well attended? What's, you know, at this point where we are, is the public really informed of what's really going on in this intersection?
Ms. Gandel, do you want to, we have a couple of people that could answer that, Counselor. Ms. Gandel, did you hold public meetings on this subject?
There wasn't specifically public meetings. We had a total company open house in 2019 that this was a part of, that we invited everybody in the community to. We had well over 100 people at that open house. And then for those that had expressed any interest in the project, we had an internal meeting as well. But that was more based on people who were already interested in the project, not those that were looking for more information. So a lot of our outreach otherwise has been through social media or messages within customer bills, letting them know the project is coming. But a lot of that from our point couldn't really start until we had Public Service Commission approval. We can't build a project without their approval. So it was really hard to do a lot of really firm campaigning and customer engagement up until that point. So with the council's approval, when we get to that point, you know, that's going to be a big topic of engagement with customers, not only in this general area where the project is, but throughout the community.
I would only add to that, and Jason Cirque can provide more details, Counselor, but we did send notices to the neighborhood. At the Plan Commission, Allison mentioned that it was wider than the usual area, but I don't remember what that radius was.
Mayor, can I say something?
Just a moment, Counselor. Counselor Kern still has the floor.
Oh, excuse me.
That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Dahlbeck.
Mayor, this is another case of some of the counselors are saying, not in my backyard. Whether it's a good idea or not, they don't like the fact that it's going in their constituents' backyard. And I'm sorry, but I just can't agree with them.
This isn't my district, Esther.
I know it's not
We'll
your
come back
district.
to order,
No, you've got the
counselors.
same phone calls as I got, and that's the consensus of it all. It's don't put it in my backyard. Well, tough.
Thank you, Counselor. Is there further discussion?
I just have just a couple of comments. Jocelyn, as a resident, you know Superior is an energy community. You know, in many of our, I guess, you know, as Councilor Dahlbeck put it, in many of our backyards, we have coal, we have lime, we have railroads, we have, and very soon coming NTEC. And I think the finer details aside, this is remarkable progress that we can all be really proud of. So we need to be moving towards renewable sources, and thanks for all of your work and your presentation tonight.
Thank you. Further discussion?
This is Counselor Ludwig. I just want to piggyback on what Counselor Van Sickle said about moving forward with green energy. And I, for one, am excited to hear about the partnership with UWS and their pollinators. And we have experts out in the community, including our ESD department. We just did a big planting with a grant that we received of pollinator plants. And so we have expertise within the city. We have master gardeners who could put input into planting, shrubs and perennial plants. And, we could really make this a real community project. So, I'd be excited to work alongside you, Jocelyn, with I'm a master gardener myself, with suggestions on what to plant along that corridor. I'm excited about the project. Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion?
Appreciate that.
Mayor Payne, may I say, comment
Councilor
one thing? Can I ask, whose district is this in?
Bender's district.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
May I ask Mr. Bender, Councilor Bender, a question, Mayor Payne?
You ask the question. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Warren, are you comfortable with going on record saying you support this 100%? Because this is your district, you probably getting most of the calls. I've gotten a couple.
I've gotten calls, but I think this is the way to go. This is the way to move forward and approve it tonight.
All right, thank you.
Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify.
Excuse me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Councilor Sweeney.
Could we have a roll call, please?
Yes. We will proceed by roll call.
Counselor Bender.
Yes.
Counselor Sweeney.
No.
Counselor Fennessy.
No.
Counselor Elm.
Yes.
Counselor Ludwig.
Yes.
Counselor Sutherland.
No.
Counselor Kern.
No.
Counselor Dahlbeck.
Yes.
Counselor Ledeen.
Yes.
Counselor Van Sickle.
Yes.
That motion
6-4.
is adopted.
The motion carries.
Okay, item 8.2 is the Communications and Information Technology Committee minutes from the November 23rd meeting. Is there a report from the chair?
This is Councilor Elm, and this actually update is from December 14th CIT meeting. It is actually in the packet. We reviewed 2 pieces of software for tree asset management, one from Davy Tree Software and an add-on module from Tyler Technologies. The committee had opted to set up a future demo with the Davy Tree Software as the add-on module from Tyler Technologies was a significantly more expensive product. Tyler's module did offer a more expansive solution for citywide asset management, but for the current need of addressing the tree inventory within the city, that's the highest priority, and that data can also be exported in the future if needed. Additionally, we reviewed the new Spots Park and Pavilion reservation software. The demo was sent ahead of time of that meeting, and we reviewed the software's capabilities and ease of use. This was also approved by the Parks and Rec Commission in the past and approved that night at CIT. I believe the implementation of the software is going to improve the efficiency and accuracy of the rental requests of pavilions within the city, and also likely encourage usage in other parks within the city. So that's it was a quick meeting, but that was my update.
And it doesn't look like we have business from the CIT, but are there questions for the chair? No, we'll move on.
Item 10.1, I am recommending approval of miscellaneous licenses.
Motion to approve.
The motion is by Councilor Sutherland. I did not hear the second.
Councilor Fennessy.
Councilor Dahlbeck made the second. Sorry, is there discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries.
Item 10.2, Finance Director Putz is recommending approval to Amendment 1 of the Agreement for Distribution and Allocation of Room Tax between the City of Superior and the Superior Douglas County Visitor Bureau.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I believe the motion is by Counselor Sutherland, the second by Counselor Bender. Is there discussion?
Yes.
Counselor Van Sickle?
Director Putz, I read both of the agreements today. And can you just outline what the amendment is covering exactly?
Yeah. The amendment is just addressing the ordinance change that council approved in October. In October, the council approved, before we had a split tax rate sum, and sometimes when people came to town, they were subject to a 6.5% tax on their stay, and sometimes a 7.5% tax. So Finance Committee recommended to council as part of the ordinance changes to go with 7.5% across the board. And our agreement with the Visitor Bureau references that tax rate. And so this is just an update, so that way the amendment, it makes the agreement just correct and accurate.
Okay, yeah, I noticed that, you know, we used to charge a lower tax rate to smaller entities. So places with less than 25 rooms were charged at a lower rate. If this was approved back in October, I guess I'm curious about the timing, only because, I mean, of course, a large portion of this goes to Travel Superior. And, you know, I don't know, it just seems troubling in some ways, but I think in the next year we'll spend a lot more time untangling the Bureau and the Chamber and the TDF and things like that. I did go through all of their minutes today and read all of their bank statements. Thank you for that. It's my understanding that they received significant CARES fund from the state. Will that be reflected, and only down 10%? The entire year. So will that be in their next financial report?
I guess I can't speak to their financial report, but what I can say is that the tax rate, the change in the tax rate is effective as of January 1st, 2021. So that is part of the timing of the amendment to the agreement. And the other thing I wanted to make sure is clear, that tax rate is actually passed on to the people staying at the hotels. It's a tax that gets added onto the fee, and so people who were coming to visit the city were getting a different tax rate just based on where they were staying. So just wanted to make sure that was clear. It's not necessarily a tax paid by the hotel or the motel or the Airbnb.
Counselor and Director Putz, I want to interrupt because I want to make it clear. Director Putz was breaking up there a minute in her initial explanation, but this item refers to the updating of the contract, not the change itself. We have already made the change.
Right.
So we should, this is a relatively procedural item, and I think questions relating to the tax rate itself are best saved for the Finance Committee or a future date.
Right, I understand that. I just don't think it's widely understood how all of these entities work together. So I think it's important to ask these questions. And then my only other comment would be in the hotel motel transfer, just making a note that it says it's being transferred to the Chamber and updating that finance document to reflect that it's of course going to the Travel Superior and not, you know, $580,000 to the Chamber, which of course would be wildly inappropriate. Thank you.
And we can make that change administratively.
Thank you.
Is there further discussion on item 10.2? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed say no. The motion carries. Before we adjourn, councilors, I just want to point out, Councilor Sweeney has joined us in the room tonight, and while I think it's important that we keep virtual meetings for at least a few more weeks, the conduct of the meeting, the effective conduct of the meeting remains our highest priority. Well, no, that's not true. Protecting the health of the members of this body is our highest priority. And we have, most of us at this point have seen COVID-19 drastically impact people that we are close to at this point, and we absolutely do not want to see any one of our members become seriously ill. That said, we do need to carry out an effective meeting, and while I should compliment all of you on these meetings going very well, the council meeting has been by far the most effective digital meeting that I'm a part of, and I'm a part of many of these, so I think you should all be pleased with how this has gone. That said, if any of you struggle with the technology, or if you have issues finding a decent place to set up and participate in the meeting, or you have a hard time hearing us, or if you just can't stand the digital format, if there's something getting in the way of you participating in the meeting, please reach out and we'll find a way to accommodate you in the building in a way that makes sure that you can participate. And unless there are other questions on that or other business from councilors, we then have no further business and are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Thanks,
Good night.
everybody.
Have a great night.
Everyone. Good night.